Hey, what's up guys, it's T-Bone here and welcome back to another episode of playing Legendary Game of Heroes. It's preview day for the event Night of the Occult, and before we look at the event cards, let's take a look at a couple of announcements for the event from the newsfeed. The first change is the collection updates. There will be an additional collection that contains Catalyst to Ascend Wardens, which opens up on Friday, 2 days after the event starts. The second change is a new type of boss called Frenzy Boss. It will be a special guild boss that spawns every 4 hours for a short time. Kind of like the haunted boss from the Fennec Fright Fest event. These bosses will be ascended bosses with relentless abilities, so it will be tougher to take down. Aside from that, looks like the structure will be the same as the previous Slayer. Now let's take a look at the event deck. We'll start with the event card Hulking Golem Ushapti. This deck is the dark version of the Last Light Slayer deck from the 2nd anniversary event, commonly referred to as the Amy deck. Ushapti's battle skill creates 2 columns of Rainbow Power Gem 1s, plus 1 additional column for every 200 Mystic Intensity, but it only maxes out at 5 columns, so a single Ushapti will not be able to fill up the board with Power Gems. It does boost attack by 100% for 2 turns if the entire board is converted to a rainbow, and the attack boost will not go up based on intensity. It counters Gem Silence, which is different than Power Gem Silence, so keep that in mind. Next is a Master Collection card, Mama Legba. Like Ushapti, she also creates Rainbow Power Gems, but will start with 3 columns and only requires 125 intensity for additional columns. She's able to fill up the board with Power Gems once she reaches 600 intensity. Her passive ability gives a better attack boost at 150 for 2 turns, which in Slayer events is a pretty good buff. She also dispels counterattack, but then again, it's unlikely a boss this event will have that buff. Now, if you have 1 copy of Mama Legba and 2 copies of Ushapti, you'll be able to fill up the board immediately since there are 7 columns on the board, so this deck can deal pretty good damage right on turn 2 to take down bosses quickly, especially if you supplement the deck with the support card Mystic Madame Jean. She is another gem spawner starting with 2 dark gems and then 1 additional gem for every 20 Mystic Intensity. Her skills are the best complement to Ushapti and Mama Legba because she will convert all the non-dark power gems to dark, which is what's needed in order to deal good damage. One aspect of this card I don't like as much is that her healing abilities are tied to the condition that the board be converted to rainbow gems, so her utility is limited compared to another card such as Nighthawk. She does dispel judgment though, which is a debuff that will damage you if you use any healing skills. That means your other healing cards will be at a disadvantage here. Finally, we have the ultra rare card Mystic Madame Jean. This is a card that I will say is not required for this deck. You will definitely get much better damage with it, but without the card, the deck itself can still work really well and deal good damage. Another reason I recommend staying away from chasing this card is the fact that her battle skill only converts and upgrades non-dark power gems to dark power gems to the next level. While this is a good ability, it is only really useful in this deck that generates rainbow gems. Compared to other cards that spawn dark power gems that can overwrite other gems anyway, this card is more limited. But if you plan on getting the full deck, having her on your team will definitely boost the damage output much higher. She also dispels blind, which is one of the easier debuffs to deal with, so not having her on the team will not cause any problems from a debuff perspective. Since there is a previous event deck that already has the same mechanism, we'll take a look at the setup that I used. I have 1 Master Collection card Amy and 2 event cards Daniil, as well as 2 support cards Astral and Amocles. We'll use a Silver Legend boss to test out and showcase the way to play this deck. This deck is actually pretty straightforward to play. Since all the cards have the same 3-turn cooldown, you simply activate your cards every 3 turns and see the damage output increase as you convert more power gems using your support cards. As you activate the battle skills, you can see that the power gems spawn on the left side, followed by 2 columns each from Daniil's skills until the board is filled with power gems. I have 3 total relics, so my intensity count is at 50 on turn 2. The support cards would each convert 4 gems to light, and doing a power gem swap at this point usually deals sufficient damage to take out most of the regular bosses. Then after the initial power gem swap, the support cards would continue to spawn gems. Keep in mind that after initially activating the battle skills of the support cards, the number of gems that it spawns for the next 3 turns do not change. So each support card here will continue to spawn 4 gems even though the intensity count is going up each turn. At this point with the intensity of 125, you'll see that the Master Collection card now will create 4 columns of power gems, and then as Daniil's skills activate, they will fill up the board first, which then triggers all the passive abilities for damage increase and heals, then finally wrap around to upgrade the gems in the first column. Each support card also converts 8 gems each, so the damage output here would be much higher because of the increased number of light power gems. There were 2 other Mystic events before, so we may already have 2 Mystic relics at this point. Even if you don't, the support cards would generate 5 intensity per turn, which is really helpful in pushing the intensity higher. The higher the intensity you get, the more gems that you can convert to dark, and therefore you can deal more damage with your event deck. At intensity 200, the event cards now also create an additional column, so more than half the board now would be at least Power Gem 2s. The support cards convert almost the entire board as well, and doing a Power Gem match here nets over 2 billion per card, which is without any Slayer bonus. This deck will be fun to use and is strong, but I'm saving my gems right now since I already have a good dark deck. I hope that I get the event card from the collection and the master collection card from the runes, but I'll be focusing on more variety for deck ideas in the next episode using different cards. Thanks a lot for watching, leave a comment below, take care, and I'll see you next time.